Good morning. Hello, everybody. My name is Leonardo, and today we're going to present our new software solution, our cloud-based solution. But before that, we are going to make some background. So here you can see on the main page, it's the theme, is the topic of what we are going to discuss. And I'm here today with Mr. Lucas Vicky. He will be my assistant. So before we start, I suggest that whatever question you may have, you can write those questions on the Q&A box. And then as soon as possible, when we finish one topic and before starting the other, we can reply all of them to make sure all of you guys are going to be on the same page as us, because this is a very interesting topic. And I'm sure you will be able to get this knowledge that we are going to transmit today. Lucas, you're still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so let's move to the next slide. So please, you will follow the Q&A for me, and I will call you sometimes. Okay. So the speakers of today, August 3rd. I introduced myself already. Leonardo Ribeiro is my name. I am the technical sales manager for the access control and time attendance business for Anviz, and Lucas is our regional sales manager. So on this week, we are going to promote this webinar 2 more times on the next Wednesday. Or we were going to, on Thursday, I'm sorry, we're going to present for Latin America in Spanish language. And tomorrow, we're going to present for the Asia Pacific time zone. So you can see more details on our webpage, anviz.com. But let's go straight to the point now. Before, some analysis of the time and attendance background. This is interesting for us to go in deep on the topic. So this is a survey we did with the McKinsey Global Institute few weeks ago, and how we are going to work in the next 5 years, in the coming 5 years. We can already see some of those not trends anymore. We can say that it's already the future. The more flexible, privately and mobile-based work era is already there. It's not coming anymore. So by the five years from now, we are estimating that 65% of the working environments, they are going to be or small or home or shared office. So they are going to be in small quantities, in small space, but split it in a big quantity. So this is important for us to know why the cloud is a must. We are going to discuss that later. We are expecting 34 billion smart terminals connected to the cloud systems. And we're going to have around 2 billion work hours from the people. So how we are going to manage that? We are going to present one of the solutions that it will help you to manage all this information together, combine it in one solution. And people working on mobile, more and more, we're going to see several billions and billions and trillions, we can say, of people. Not trillion, but let's move forward. What upgrading on work management system you will need towards the trend? So here we are introducing the 5 first, the basis of this pyramid, we can say, things that we will need definitely to make this solution work, what we will have to provide. So is scheduling and fast locating rights, low investment and easy development, quick reporting, access from everywhere by mobile terminal or smart terminals, and a security data privacy control. So all of this information are crucial, we can say, to establish a time and attendance cloud-based management solution. And as I mentioned before, why is a cloud-based employee time tracking system a must? First of them, data preservation. So it doesn't matter if you have a fault or a problem in your hardware or in your local database on your local system, all the information will still be preserved on the cloud server. It will kept stored on the highest safety cloud server systems in the world. We're going to also tell a few more about that in a short time. Data access. So here it's the mobility. We can say that you will be able to access your information by anywhere, anytime. As soon as you have internet, you will be connected to the current management system. And transparency. So this is also very, very important because it will be stored on the cloud. And once it's there, no one will be able to modify that information unless if there is a log on there. I mean, if someone modified the information for settings, starting devices, configuring, scheduling time, okay, but the records, the information that really happened, that device or the punch in or the punch out was stored, that information will be transparent for all of the responsibles that will be authorized to check that system, including, if you want to, the employee, the supervisor, the manager, the owner. You will be the one, the administrator will be the one to define what will be permitted for the users just to be seen, all right? So moving forward, what is the CrossChecks Cloud? So CrossChecks Cloud is our solution built for business that need an easy to use, affordable, and reliable time and attendance system. So with these words, we can say that it will be a cloud-based system without any software needed, any extra software needed. I mean, we will not need to install any program, any software, any application on your desktop. You will be able to see everything from the web browser. And also, of course, it's an optional tool for you, the mobile application. But if you don't want, on the web browser, you'll be able to open the system and check all the functions by there. We will offer a super quick setup and an easy to use system. So after the theoretical part, we are going to make a live demonstration with the main features for you. And you're going to see that it's quite simple to make the settings, and also very, very simple to get the reports and the information you may need to control your system. And the most important for our solution, it will save your business money and also the time, because making a very quick and easy setting, you will also save a lot of time from the standard functions, the manual or the not automatic time attendance functions some companies still have. So here is the solution we want to offer to you today. Why CrossChecks Cloud? One of the questions customers may ask with more frequency. So if you are also a dealer or an installer or a service provider, these are important for you to talk with your potential end user, your potential customers. These are the main advantages of our system. So as I said before, nothing to install on your desktop. You will be able to see the information, to connect to your system anytime, any place, with any smart terminal. As long as you have internet where your hardware is installed, and in your phone, on your computer, you'll be able to communicate with all the machines, the hardwares on your account. And one more very important thing, this is a P2P solution. You will not need to open to port forwarding, for triggerings, to open routes on the customer routers, things like that. No, it's everything P2P, so it's very quick to install and very quick to use. On the demo, live demonstration, you're going to see more details about that. And zero as IT cost, which means you will not need to buy own cloud server account. You will not need to establish a sophisticated hardware system for communication. No, you will be able to use the same routers, the same structures you already have to make your company connected to the internet and your existing systems. So there will be no extra cost for this kind of application. Here is a little bit of our hardware family. So all of these devices on this slide, they are compatible with the CrossChecks Cloud application. So we have several hardware models to fit the ones that we can choose, the one that fits more on your requirements. So we have fingerprint readers, we have facial recognition, some of them also with temperature measurement, mask detection. We have some of them just for password and RFID, but what is important for you to know, all of them, they have at least one technology to verify your employee. So for example, if his fingerprint is not so, doesn't have a good quality, or if he has lost his RFID tag or RFID card to punch in or to punch out, you will have a secondary option or a face or another technology to make the record for this user, to make sure this is the right user that is clocking in and clocking out. So just all of this, just to make sure that you will be able to have multiple ways to clock in and out. All right. Moving forward. Here is a little bit more about the AWS database storage. So our systems, our solutions, they are connected with a very high security encryption with the AWS cloud database, split it in many parts of the world. And we also have different options of CrossChecks Cloud applications. So on this slide, we are also telling about, we are going to have one of those servers located in the Europe. So this European cloud server, it will be among the standards of the GDPR, a very important protection for your private data. So we are going to respect all the applications, all the regulations from the GDPR on the European server. We also have other servers depending the region where you are. We have a server in the United States that will be the one we are going to demonstrate. We have a server for Asia Pacific. So all these informations, those additional informations, they are already available at our website. So if you go on anviz.com, you will see the landing page from the CrossChecks Cloud, and you will be able to see also the FAQs and some more details if you want to go deeper, a few more complete solutions from this system as a whole. Okay, Lucas, any comments, any questions so far?
Nothing for now, Leo.
Okay, so guys, if you came after I started, we have a Q&A tool on this webinar platform. So whatever question you may have, please, you can write that down on the Q&A button, and after a while we are going to see that and reply your questions to make sure you're going to understand the complete solution. Okay. CrossChecks Cloud offers the best way to manage your employees' hours. So now we're going to move a little bit on the technical features the software can provide to us. So here is just a short video about how to set time and attendance system. We can see that in the practical in a few times, but what I mean with this slide is you're going to have easily set up attendance rules. You'll be able to create and manage employee schedules for all your organizations. So you will be able to create different kind of schedulings depending of how your employee works. And if you have a specific group that works by the same time, by the same specifications, definitely you will be able to set one shift for them, for example, and set a group, and we'll be able to control them all together, including on your reports. You will be able to see everything based on the same exporting report. A powerful dashboard. The main page of the software after you create an account is the dashboard. It's a very it's a briefing of all your systems, so you will be able to see how many records you have on your system, how many devices you have on your CrossChecks Cloud, which of them are online, which of them are offline. You're going to see also, if you have scheduling according to that, how many of your employees are late, how many of your employees are absent, how many of them are not on the are in the company during the correct configuration. You will have different lines. You have a timeline with different graphics according to what is your company, how is your company workforce right now. So it's a very it's not so basic, but it's the main features that you need to know at a first moment. You will be able to have a high impact reporting. So on the report tab, you will be able to see you can split the reports according to departments, according to employees, according to specific groups in different time frames. If you want a weekly report, if you want a monthly report, or if you need a specific one, you will be able to filter according to what you need. And you will also it will also be possible to export that information for a PDF or for an Excel file, for example. And on this report, you can also do some formulas, or you can also integrate with third-party existing applications. So in short words, it's a very flexible system, and it's up to adapt to what your company really needs to provide you a very good time and attendance management system. Okay. Very, very easy to manage the employees. So you can create the employees directly on the cloud, and you can set them which of the technologies they will be able to punch in and out. So you can enroll, for example, let's imagine you have 3 offices. You can enroll the users at one office, and you can transfer this information for all the other hardwares in other offices. That it's very quick and it's very simple to do. You can set the device or the specific department you want to make that hardware, that Anviz biometric reader, a temporary enroller to collect the facial recognition of your employee or the fingerprint of your employee, for example, and you can send this information by the cloud to other hardwares on this same account. As I mentioned, I will do a live demonstration about that. We are going to explore a little bit deeper on that part. And here, yes.
Before we move forward, Mr. Sebastian asked some question regarding what you mentioned. The question is, when the employee punches, is the data sent automatically to the cloud application?
Oh, this is a very good question, Sebastian. Yeah, on the cloud system, we can say that is a data push function, which means whenever the device recognizes a user, it generates the record in the local memory of your hardware, and yes, automatically send this information by the cloud. Is what we say data push. So all our hardwares that are connected to the CrossChecks Cloud, they have this feature. They are data push. As long as they get the record, they send it automatically to the cloud. And another possible question some users may have, if I don't have internet at that time, for example, I have an instability on the Wi-Fi of my company, but the employees are clocking in and clocking out. How will I lose those records? No, you will not lose those records. As soon as the device establishes the communication again, the device will send the records automatically to your cloud system. So you don't need to worry about that either.
Okay, thank you, Leo.
Okay.
Regarding the server that you already explained a few minutes ago, Mr. Vincent asked if you have a server in South Africa.
Vincent, I will have to double check that information, but as far as I know, we do have a Asia Pacific server. We have a US server for North America and Central South America continent. But if we do not have a specific server for the South Africa, you don't need to worry about that. You can create your account on any other software CrossCheck server. You will be able to connect in the same way, okay? But we are going to check that information and we send that for you after the webinar, all right? So Lucas, if you please can note that question. I can confirm for Mr. Vincent later.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Shall we proceed? Any other question for now?
Yeah, regarding the CrossCheck account, there is no limit for employees or device.
Okay, this is a very good question. Regarding to the employees, there is not a specific limit for your cloud server. What you must respect is the hardware memory. For example, let's imagine you have a VF30 Pro, a biometric reader, and that reader can receive up to 3,000 users by fingerprint. So that hardware will not receive more than 3,000 users, but in your cloud account, you can have as many as you want. There is not a limitation for that so far. Not for devices, not for employees. And so far, the only limitation is on the hardware.
Okay, thank you so much. We shall proceed.
Okay. I guess I have another, there is another question here, Lucas, but it's about the API. We can talk about the integration, the software development for third-party providers after the webinar. Okay, just to don't keep the question open. So we are going to discuss about that. Okay, so this is a specifically function we're going to add in the next it's on our roadmap, probably by this key 3, still on this trimester, the mobile punching and tracking, which means this will also involve the mobile punching in, punching out. So assuming that your employees are out of office, they are in a business trip, or they are visiting some customers out of the office, they will be able to clock in and clock out by the mobile application. So they will just have to open the CrossChecks app, and they will clock in with their login and password, and the manager, the administrator, will see that information in real time. And it will also be able to have a geolocalization, a GPS tracking about where did that employee clock it in, or where did he clock it out. Was he really at the office? Was he really visiting customers? Was he really in the business trip? So you'll also be able to follow the punching in and punching out with that function. That function will be provided shortly. On the base of the current version, we still do not have that, but we are already on beta tests. Soon that will be released. Okay, I guess we can move forward to a live demonstration. I can show my CrossChecks application for you guys. Before that, Lucas, do you have any comments? Should we make some questions for now, or so far so good?
Yes, besides the API that you're going to mention now, what is the language we have on the CrossCheck software?
Okay, good question. We can go already to the CrossChecks server, then we can see that on the practical. So I just ask you some seconds. I will share the CrossChecks application with you guys, and we can check by there. But for now, I can guarantee that we have English and we have Spanish. Probably we have more, but I have to double check those other languages we can provide. But English and Spanish, definitely we can cover. And of course, another very interesting tool you can use the translation directly from your web browser. For example, you can, if you're using Google Chrome, you can translate the web browser to your proper language. The web browser have this function to translate to other languages. There might be some fails, some that maybe it will not be 100% well translated, but the context as a general, definitely that translation will be able to cover. Okay. So Lucas, I'm going to share my screen. I want you please to confirm if you can see that. Then when you be able to see it, we can start.
Yes, I can see the initial
Okay,
page
great.
of CrossCheck.
Perfect. So guys, on the web page, I'm going by us.crosscheckscloud.com. And this is the initial page of the system. If you already have an account, you can just insert your email and your password. If it's your first time, you can sign up for a new account and input your information by there. And after you create your account, you will be able to open your CrossChecks Cloud page. So I'm going to log in on mine to show you an overview of the applications we have so far. So as you can see, here is the dashboard. I can see how many employees were supposed to punch today. Since we are doing this testing, we have just a few simulations, but in your real company, you would be able to check that information in real time. I can see how many records I have in my database, in my CrossChecks Cloud database, how many devices I have, and how many of them are online. And I can also see a timeline for the month in this graphic. So for example, if I move to July, where we have some tests, you will be able to see on the last week of July, some lines about some of my employees that were late or early, which of them were absent, if there was an exception. For example, one of the users had to leave for a business trip, or he had a medical license on that day, we'll also be able to see that information. Moving next, I can show you on the organization tab. We are based by these main tabs right here on the top, okay? On the organization tabs, we are able to manage the employees. So we can create new employees. We can set them different departments. So you have to understand that a department is where you will assign the hardware. So for example, you can create the California office, and inside the California office, you can have a time clock, a time and attendance clock. So when you create a user, and you define that user belongs to the California office department, the system will automatically collect his biometric information and send to the hardware that belongs to California office. So it's a very quick and simple logic to respect. You can have your user, your employee in different offices based on different departments. So they can clock in one device and clock out in another, for example. This is very flexible and very easy to do. I can set pictures for the users if I want to. When I create those users or when I modify them, I'm also able to upload pictures for them. So it will be easy for me to manage by the picture, to have a reference, a human reference on my system. And I can also use those pictures if I want to send facial recognition templates for the facial hardware. So if we're talking about a face deep 3 or a face deep 5, for example, I will be able to transmit that picture to the hardware, and the hardware will be able to convert that for a template recognition for the time attendance punch in and punch out. Here we have the device tab. On the device tab, I will be able to control and see all my Anviz hardware inside my system. So for example, I have here online for those testing today, IEP 300 Pro is this hardware you can see on my table, and this box, from this box, but I can have many other hardwares and work with them together. So those hardwares that are in color, they are online. Those that are in gray, they are offline for this moment. You can double check how many users, how many fingerprints, how many faces the devices they have from that kind of situation, right?
Leo?
Yes?
Using this example, can we use a cross-check with other time attendance devices?
Well, if we are talking about other brands, unfortunately not. CrossChecks Cloud is an Anviz solution, and it intends to work only with Anviz hardware. We do have other Anviz hardwares. Those same hardwares I have shown on this slide about the CrossChecks Cloud family. All of those hardware are compatible with the CrossChex Cloud. But if we are talking about other brands, their answer is no, we can't.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So moving next, I want to show you the record tab before the attendance, because on the record tab is where I am able to see real-time records. So I can filter, as I said before, by department, by employees, by specific days. So I'm going to make a real-time test now. I have a EP300 Pro, the same hardware we are talking, and I will make my fingerprint recognition. And after I refresh the page, you're going to see a new record will be shown on the screen. So which means that is real time. So on my time right now is 2:32 p.m. So if I do the search again, there will be a record for 2:32 p.m. for Ribeiro Leonardo. I have some tests with other fingers already, so you'll see that this is also a real time. Another confirmation. So I just enrolled a simulation of the user Joseph. So if we do the search again, a Joseph record will appear after Leonardo. So it's real time. The device get the function, get the record and transmit with no extra need of download records or upload information. Is that what I mentioned before, replying one of the questions, the data push function. And now, moving next, these are just the records, but if I want to do some reports, for example, to calculate how much time the employee worked by a specific date, I will be able to see that information on the time and attendance reports. So a few more functions that we can make the overview today. So I can do, for example, a weekly report for the user number 3. So for example, if I go to July 26 to 30, and I would choose user number 3, for example, on my screen, it will show the name of the employee, the ID, which office he belongs to, and which dates he clocked in and he clocked out. So his shift time, for example, it's from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on this column, we can see which time he clocked in by those days, which time he clocked out by those days, how much is his dirty time, and how much was his real actual working time. So for example, discounting the late minutes, the early leaves, breaks, discounting all the what happened on that day, you will be able to see the actual working time, and you will be able to export that information if you want to. So we have different ways to export reports. We can export the same report that is being presented on this screen. So if I go to the export button, I can export current data. It will make me a PDF Excel file exactly with the same functions on this page. So I'm already downloading the report. I will show that to you. Let's open. But in this meantime, I can tell you, we have different kinds of report. So if you want a complete monthly report from the first day until the last day of the month, you have the monthly attendance report. You have exceptions report to check the daily licenses, business trips, works that were done out of the office, for example, or if the employee didn't work at that time, you can set an exception for him. So we are very flexible on that part, and we can see different kind of reports. So just give you some idea, this is the current data report. I'm opening on the Excel right now. Lucas, can you confirm my Excel is being shown?
Yes, it's opening. Okay, you can see now.
Okay, and my audio is still okay. You can listen to everything. Okay,
yes.
Great. Perfect. Thanks for confirming. So this is the same report we had on that part. So we can see the same columns. We can make some formulas, for example, on the actual time. We can set the sum of those numbers. We can adapt that if we need to, or we can delete the columns. It's really up to what are your requirements based on your company. So in short words, I want to say that's very, very flexible, and you can adapt which the most that fits you better. And just to confirm, to finish at this part on the reportings, we also have a temperature and mask settings. That is very interesting for our facial readers. We have how to verify if the user was wearing a mask, if the user was above the limit of the temperature, if he was at fever, for example, talking about the COVID scenario. Let me try to show you some examples. I also did some examples last week. So let me try to filter that for the time range, and I will do a search. And another interesting feature, the device take real-time pictures. The facial readers that are connected to the cloud, when they get this record, they transfer this record to the cloud with the username. If he was wearing a mask or not, what was his temperature if you're using the IRT version, and also if you have visitors, for example. This is another very interesting feature we do have, that if you want to put your hardware on a reception, for example, just to make a screening of your visitors, you will be able to check if they were wearing masks, how much was their temperature, and if they are really authorized to move forward or not. So for example, for now, I just want to filter by those records that where I was using mask, for example, and I can check just those records with the pictures where I was using masks, okay? And if I just want records with no masks, here is the situation. We can have all these filters according to what you really need. Well, I guess we can see something more maybe on the settings part, but Lucas, if you do have some questions for now, I guess it would be a good time.
Yes, Tarindo requests advice. He mentioned like that each time I try to schedule settings, it gives a error, but my device shows online. Do you have advice for them on that?
Well, we would have to analyze why the device is not getting those scheduling. Probably there are some details we have to review on the configuration, but should not be a big problem. Most of the time is something regarding to the time shift. So this is a very interesting part. We can do an overview, but please, Lucas, save for me his name and ask him his email address, so we can forward him to the specific responsible support to make a remote session with him and check together with him what is really happening, why his system is not storing the scheduling. Okay, thanks a lot for that. So I will show mine just to you to give you some idea. That part is a few more deep on the technical part. We are intending to provide quick videos with applications with configuration step by step on how to give you a very good time attendance configuration. But we can see an overview right now, as I said. So for example, we do have the time and attendance parameters where we can change if in our reports we want to see those numbers by minutes, by hours, if we want to round them up, round them down, or don't using the routing settings, and do this for all the kind of punching in and punching out. So for normal punching ins, for lates, for early leaving, absence, and so on. So this is a presetting on how you want your report to be shown. On the shift part, you are able to configure the shifts of your system. For example, this is a weekly shift from 9 to 6 p.m., the same example I gave, and I can modify that according to what I need. So replying the question, probably there is a detail here we have to review, or on the schedule, because after we create the shift, we can send them to the employees for a specific time frame, or until the end of his contract, until the end of the year, for example. So if we go a week behind, you can see here, this is the calendar, and those blue icons means that these employees are scheduled with the blue shift, that is the weekly one we had. So those 2 users, they are scheduled, and those other 3, they are flexible. You also have the way to work on the flexible mode, which means if your employee doesn't have a specific time to respect, you would just need to know how much hours, how many times he worked by that week. So you just have to collect his punching in and his punching out. And after those 2 records, the software will be able to analyze the latest one less the first one. The sum, the subtraction of this operation will be how many times that the employee worked by that day. So we have several ways to do that. So this is another interesting feature. I'm just giving you some spoiler of the next coming webinars and training we're going to provide. But what I intend to say, it's not that hard. It's quick, simple to do that. So if you are facing some details, definitely we can give you a support to check where the problem might be. Okay, Lucas, any other question you may have?
Yes, Mr. Sebastian asked about the reports, monthly attendance report. They are available on the web interface or only if you export that? And also, there's a question from him, the costs involved on the cloud solution.
Okay, good question. About the first one, the monthly attendance, it's only to be exported because it's a little bit different on how the records, how the report is shown on the screen, because you have to do some calculations to check the how is the total work hours for your employee. So for that part, you will have to download and export the monthly record. Okay, you cannot see exactly how the report is on the screen. And replying his other questions about the CrossChecks Cloud pricing, the costs, what I can confirm for you guys for now, it's that there is no cost for this current version because we are promoting new features, and in the future we will have a more complete version. And for the more complete version, there will be some costs on that. This information is not official yet, but soon we are going to provide more information. But what we can guarantee for now is that if you create a cloud account right now and you enroll at least one hardware to your account, we can confirm that this basic function will never be charged for you. So this is also an opportunity for you guys to keep a very flexible solution with zero cost of maintenance, zero cost of software management. Definitely in the future, when we add more features, there's those features that will be some specific costs for that to be discussed with the with the sales and internal team about the pricing. Lucas, still there?
Thank you.
Oh,
thank you, Leo. Another question, can the access control settings be managed from cloud CrossCheck system?
This is a very, very interesting question as well. Right now, the current version, you can do the access control management, but we can say that's more because of the hardware than from the CrossChecks Cloud software. Because the hardware, when you set a user group, number one, the hardware will trigger the relay. It will trigger it. In other words, it will be able to open the door. But more enhanced access control functions, they are in the roadmap for this next version of CrossChecks Cloud. So for now, if you intend to do a very basic access control, is okay. You can use the CrossChecks Cloud to transfer users between hardwares, and the hardware will be able to open the door. But if you want to control, for example, time restrictions or anti-passback functions, for example, these more enhanced access control applications, then I suggest you using the CrossChecks standard, our other software, or wait for the next generation of the CrossChecks Cloud. Okay.
Okay, great. Another question. If I enable the visitor mode in the FaceDeep 5 ERT, would it give the attendance report and the time attendance report for the registered users?
Yes, the time attendance will be just used for the regular users. So for those users, you will have to enroll them on the system, but that the device will still be able to send visitor records for your cloud server. So you will have two different informations in two different parts, but you will be able to manage them all as a whole solution. Do you think that?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Leo.
Okay. Any other questions so far?
Regarding the first question of regarding the API, is that answered correctly or?
Yeah, I let that answer to be replied after the webinar, but since we are up to finish, just a few more functions we may explore. But replying about the APIs, we have how to provide those informations. We just need to collect your email and your information to get in contact with you to provide those applications. The CrossChecks Cloud, we will not provide any source code or any integration for you to this specific software, but we can provide the tools and the APIs so you're able to make Anviz hardware to connect, for example, with your own cloud application. If you have a cloud solution, you can use our hardware with your cloud server. That will be not problem.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Leo. The last one, are you able to switch the total time format from minutes to decimal?
That is a good question. We can see that on the time and attendance settings. We can just confirm that right now. It's on the attendance tab, time and attendance parameter. We can change. No, I guess so far it's just decimals. We are not talking about hours, just decimals. So if you need that information, if you need that conversion automatically, I ask you please to send us a suggestion email. You can talk with us directly. We can put that on our roadmap evaluation. And if that is okay, we can set that for the next versions. This is very important for us to have this kind of experience with our users. We take that very serious when we implement and we create our newer solutions. We hear to the market, is what I'm saying. So definitely, I want more details about that. We can evaluate how to provide if we do not provide yet. Okay, but just to do not give you a suggestion of solution. If you export by the Excel file, from the Excel itself, you are also able to convert from decimal to hours and from hours to decimal. That would be a temporary solution for this problem. Okay.
Okay, Leo, we can move forward.
Okay, great. So just to finish this overview, guys, I want to show you just the setting parts. This is the important part for you to connect with your Anviz hardware. So on the company ID and in the cloud password, these are the relevant information you will have to insert on your Anviz hardware. So if you go directly on the Anviz hardware menu or on the web server, you will see that on the cloud menu, there will be a user and password field you will have to fill with this information. And after you select the server correctly, your device will do a network test. And if everything is okay, you will see the cloud icon on the device display. And on the dashboard, you already see the device is online. So this is important from here for you to know. And another important and very used solution, it's for those medium business or those business that they have more than one owner, or if you have different managers that controls different workforce team, you can create other CrossChecks users on your account. So imagine that you're the owner but you have a manager that control the sales department, for example. You can create an account for him as a supervisor. So you will set James, for example, as the sales manager, and James will be able to control the time and attendance management just for the sales department. And he will have an email and he will have a password. So he will also be able to check the CrossChecks Cloud system anytime, anywhere, and see how are their responsible employees working, if they are late, if they are working as overtime, if they are absent. So you can create different managers and they can be all involved in the same account, which gives more flexibility and more, you can delegate the control of your assistant if you need to. And I guess for this basic overview, we have seen the main functions so far. So guys, if you have questions, if you have comments, we can reply right now. But before we finish, I want to tell you something more. But Lucas, if you have some questions based on this overview, I can reply for now. Then we can transfer the screen to the PPT again. Let me know, please.
Yes, there is just one more question. Is there any chance of creating a schedule which can download the reports every day in given time?
Is there any chance of creating a schedule which can download the reports every day in given time? I'm not sure if I understood that correctly, but what I can say is that the records, they are transferred to the CrossChecks Cloud directly. So you don't need to worry about downloading the records. But if you want to get those reports, then you will have to open the CrossChecks Cloud, set the time frame, set the departments, and get the reports. Maybe the question is regarded to do that second part automatically. If that is the question, on this first version, we cannot provide that. This is a more basic version, but it's already on our roadmap to send regular reports by email, for example, alerts. So you will be able to set, for example, after a week, after a month, the system will get a complete report and send that automatically for you by email. But that function is not on this basic version so far. It's under development.